ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಂದಿನ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮಾಸದ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಥೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿರಾಮಯ ಯೋಗಕುಟೀರಂ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ 15 ವರ್ಷ ತುಂಬಿದೆ. 2007 ನವೆಂಬರ್ 29 ಆ ದಿನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾದ ಈ ಎರಡು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು 15 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯ ವಿಚಾರಧಾರೆಯನ್ನ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ, ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಹಾಗೂ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಸ್ತರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜನಮಾನಸಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸುವಂತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೋಗ ತರಗತಿಗಳು, ಯೋಗ ಥೆರಪಿಗಳು, ಯೋಗ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಗಳು, ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಜನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನಸಿಕ ದೃಢತೆ, ದೈಹಿಕ ದೃಢತೆಯನ್ನು ತರುವಂತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ. ಹಾಗೆ ದೀನ ದಲಿತರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಕರೋನಾ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಂದೂ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯ ಅನೇಕ ಹಬ್ಬಗಳನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ರಕ್ಷಾಬಂಧನ ಆಚರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಭ್ರಾತೃತ್ವ ಭಾವ, ದೇಶಭಕ್ತಿ, ಸಮಾಜದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ಬಿಂಬಿಸುವಂತ ಅನೇಕ ಹಬ್ಬಗಳನ್ನ, ರಕ್ಷಾಬಂಧನ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ರಥಸಪ್ತಮಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆಯುಧ ಪೂಜೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಹಬ್ಬಗಳನ್ನ ಆಚರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಜನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಚೇತನವನ್ನು ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಸ್ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಷ್ಟ್ರು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲೂ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ತರಗತಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವ ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಯೋಗ ಆಸನಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮವನ್ನು ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಯೋಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಆಸನಗಳಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಮೇಷ್ಟ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಮ ನಿಯಮಗಳಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಸಮಾಧಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿಗೆ ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಈ 3 ಸ್ತರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 15 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಜನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇತನ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಜನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಿವನ್ನ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಈ ನಿರಾಮಯ ಯೋಗಕುಟೀರಂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಯೋಗ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಾಗೋದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯ ಯೋಗಗಳು. ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ, ಅರಿವನ್ನ ತಂದು ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಯೋಗ ಅಂತೇವೆ. ಭಗವಂತನ ಉಪಾಸನೆಗೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಗ ಅಂತೇವೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅರ್ಜುನನ ದುಃಖ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಯೋಗ, ಅರ್ಜುನ ವಿಷಾದ ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು. ಮಾಡುವ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯೋಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಈ ಕೊಯಂಬತ್ತೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸದ್ಗುರು ಅವರ ಆದಿಯೋಗಿನ ಮೊದಲ ಅನಾವರಣ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೆಲವು ಬಹಳ ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಶಬ್ದಗಳನ್ನ ಯೋಗದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯೋಗ is a catalyst for transformation from jiva to shiva. The beauty of yoga is it is ancient yet modern. It is constant but evolving. It is oneness of body, mind and intellect. It is oneness of family, oneness of society. It is a journey from I to we, from me to us, from aham to vayam, and from jiva to shiva. This is exactly what Niramaya and Ramatheertha Seva Foundation has been doing. Yendu masada nenapu, ತಿಂಗಳ ತರಗತಿ, ಮಾಸದ ಮರೆಯಲಾಗದ ಮನನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಜ್ಞಾನಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಶಬ್ದ. ಮನನ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮಂಥನ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಶಬ್ದ. ಈ ಎಂದೂ ಮಾಸದ ನೆನಪು ಪ್ರತಿ ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂತೆಂತ ಮಹನೀಯರಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅನೇಕರು 100-150 ಕಂತುಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಎಂದೂ ಮಾಸದ ನೆನಪುಗಳಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ವೇದಾಂತಿಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗುರುಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಜಾಗವನ್ನ, ನಿರಾಮಯದ ಈ ಸ್ಥಳವನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅನುಭಾನಂದ ಅವರು ಹೋದ್ಸಲ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BK ಸಂಗಾರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರಮಾಚಾರ್ಯ ಅವರು ಬಂದಿದ್ರು, ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಮಠದ ಗುರುಜಿ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ರು. ಹೀಗೆ ಈ ಜಾಗವೇ ಒಂದು ದೇವಾಲಯ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಯೋಗಾಲಯ ಆಗಿದೆ, ವೇದಾಂತಮಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರಿವು, ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೌರವ ಮತ್ತೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ, ಸಮಾಜದ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ ಮೂಡಿಸೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಈ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ನಿರಾಮಯ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಹಿಂದಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಶೆಣೈಯವರು. ಈ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಶೆಣೈಯವರ 15 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಈ ತಪಸ್ಸು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು 20 ವರ್ಷ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಗ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥರ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ, ವೇದಾಂತ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಜನಮಾನಸಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದೇ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅವರ ತಪಸ್ಸು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ 15 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದಿನವೂ ತಪ್ಪದೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಅವರು ಯೋಗಾಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತರಗತಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಯೋಗವನ್ನ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ, ಯೋಗದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮವನ್ನ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ, ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ನಗನಗ್ತಾ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹುರಿದುಂಬಿಸ್ತಾ, ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ 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 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಒಂದು ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ತಂದಿರೋದು ಅವರ ತಪಸ್ಸಿನ ಫಲ. ಈಗ ಸಂಕೋಚ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಸಂತ ಕಬೀರ್ ಅವರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ನೆನಪಾಗ್ತದೆ ನನಗೆ. ಸಂತ ಕಬೀರರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ, ನಿನಗೆ ಗುರು ಮತ್ತೆ ದೈವ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಎದುರು ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸ್ತೀಯ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಕಬೀರರು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಷಣ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ವಂದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಗುರು ಯಾಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ದೈವವನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿದವನು ಗುರು, ದೈವವನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿದವನು ಗುರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲ ನಮನ, ನಂತರ ದೈವಕ್ಕೆ ನಮನ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಜೂನ್ 21, 2015 ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಯೋಗ ಡೇಯ ಮೊದಲ ದಿನ, ಮೊದಲ ಉತ್ಸವ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ RV ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದ್ವಿ. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ಸಂಜೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರ ಭಾಷಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅಸತೋಮ ಸದ್ಗಮಯ, ನನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅಸತೋಮ ಸದ್ಗಮಯ, ಕತ್ತಲಿನಿಂದ ಬೆಳಕಿನೆಡೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದರು. ಅವರನ್ನ ಪರಿಚಯಿಸಿದ ಶ್ರೇಯಸ್ಸು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಶರಣಯ್ಯಗೆ ಸಲ್ಲುತ್ತದೆ. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಯೋಗದಿಂದ ವೇದಾಂತಡೆಗೆ ಒಯ್ಯುವ ಕೆಲಸ ಅವತ್ತು ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಯಿತು. ಅಂದಿನಿಂದ ಇಂದಿನವರೆಗೆ ನಿರಾಮಯದ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಒಡನಾಟ ನಿರಾತಂಕವಾಗಿ, ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ, ಭಕ್ತಿ ಪುರಸ್ಸರವಾಗಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಂತರದ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಒಂದು ತಂಡವನ್ನ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರು ಪರಮ ವೇದಾಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾಮಧೇಯ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಪರಮ ವೇದಾಂತ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಹುಟ್ಟುಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಈ ಪರಮ ವೇದಾಂತ, ನಿರಾಮಯ, ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಿಭಾಜ್ಯ ಅಂಗವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳಕು ನಿಂತಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಅಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅನೇಕ ಸಲ ಇದೇ ವೇದಿಕೆ ನಾನೇ ಅವ್ರ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಿದಷ್ಟು ಅವರು ಮುಜುಗರ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅವರು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಒಂದು ಹಿಂದೂ ಮಾಸನ ಬುಕ್ ಅಂತಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದು ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಪರಿಚಯವನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ಸಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ವೇದಗಳ ಸಾರ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತಿನ ಸಾರ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯ ಸಾರ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲು ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಸಾಲು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವೆರೆವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್, ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್, ಬಿ 100%. ಇದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯ ಸಾರ. ಅರ್ಜುನ ಯುದ್ಧ ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅವನು ಯೋಧನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ವೆರೆವರ್ ಯುದ್ಧ ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ವೆರೆವರ್ ಯುದ್ಧ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅವನು ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅವನು ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ ಅರ್ಜುನ್ನಿಂದ ಡಿಸೈಪಲ್ ಅರ್ಜುನ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಕರ್ಮಣ್ಯೇವ ಅಧಿಕಾರಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾ ಫಲೇಶು ಕದಾಚನ ಮಾ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲಹೇತು ಭಂ ಮಾತೆ ಸಂಗೋಸ್ಪನಿ ಕರ್ಮಣಿ. ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿನ್ನ ಅಧಿಕಾರ, ಫಲದ ಚಿಂತೆ ಬಿಡು. ನಿನ್ನ ಕರ್ಮದಿಂದ ಫಲದ ಹೇತುವನ್ನು, ಫಲವನ್ನ ಕಾರಣವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಡ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರ್ಮವನ್ನ ಬಿಡಬೇಡ. ಈ ಸಾಲು ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ನೀವು ಜೀವಂತವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ. ಈಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ 2 ಗುರುಗಳ ಸಮಾಗಮ ಈ ನಿರಾಮಯ. ಒಂದು ಯೋಗ ಗುರು, ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ವೇದಾಂತ ಗುರು. ಈ 2 ಗುರುಗಳ ಒಡನಾಟ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇರೋದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಒಂದು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ವಿಷಯ, ಗೌರವದ ವಿಷಯ, ಭಕ್ತಿ ವಿಷಯ, ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯ. ಈಗ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ನ ಧ್ಯೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಿರಾಮಯದ ಧ್ಯೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಸರ್ವೇ ಸಂತು ನಿರಾಮಯ. ಅದು ಬೃಹದಾರಣ್ಯಕ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಶಾಂತಿ ಮತದಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸರ್ವೇ ಭವಂತು ಸುಖಿನಃ, ಸರ್ವೇ ಸಂತು ನಿರಾಮಯ, ಸರ್ವೇ ಭದ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಶ್ಯಂತು ಮಾ ಕಶ್ಚಿತ್ ದುಃಖ ಭಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದು ಶಾಂತಿ ಮಂತ್ರ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಾಮಯ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ರೋಗವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿ, ದೈಹಿಕವಾಗಿ, ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಮನುಷ್ಯನನ್ನ ದೃಢನನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಇದು ನಿರಾಮಯ. ಹಾಗೆ ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಉದ್ಧರೇದ ಆತ್ಮನಾತ್ಮಾನಂ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಧ್ಯೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯ. ಇದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ 6 ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದ 5ನೇ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಉದ್ಧರೇದಾತ್ಮನಾತ್ಮಾನಂ ನಾತ್ಮಾನ್ ಮವಸಾದಯೇ ಆತ್ಮೈವ ಹ್ಯಾತ್ಮನೋ ಬಂಧುರಾತ್ಮೈವ ರಿಪುರಾತ್ಮನಃ. ಇದರ ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕ 6ನೇ ಶ್ಲೋಕ. ಬಂಧುರಾತ್ಮಾತ್ಮನಸ್ತಸ್ಯ ಏವಾತ್ಮನೈವಾತ್ಮನಾಜಿತಃ ಅನಾತ್ಮನಸ್ತಸ್ತು ಶತ್ರುತ್ವೇ ವರ್ತೈತಾತ್ಮೈವ ಶತ್ರು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನ ನೀನು ಗೆದ್ದರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ನಿನಗೆ ನೀನೇ ಮಿತ್ರನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀನು ಸೋತರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು ಶರಣಾಗತಿ ಆದರೆ ನಿನಗೆ ನೀನೇ ಶತ್ರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಅನೇಕ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಿದೆ, ಅನೇಕ ಮಂತ್ರಗಳಿದೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯನ್ನ ಓದಕ್ಕಾಗದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರ ಬದುಕನ್ನ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಅವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವರ ಒಡನಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ 2 ದಿನ ಇದ್ರೆ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಸಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಹಾತ್ಮರು, ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಹನೀಯರು ನಮ್ಮ ವೇದಾಂತ ಗುರುಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರು ನಾರಾಯಣ ಹೃದಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ಜನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಅವರ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾತುರಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Such a privilege to be among all of you. Thank you very much, Shanoy sir, for this wonderful opportunity. It's a great opportunity to be with you, to be able to share, and also more than the sharing the last 1 or 2 weeks, the whole preparation for this topic was a wonderful experience. Thank you, Venkatesh, for a wonderful introduction. I will begin with 7 questions. I want you to answer these 7 questions. Because there are so many, you don't have to answer them aloud, but answer them in your mind. So first we will begin with 7 questions. And then this is also towards the end of the year. Shanoy sir said, toward the end of the year, you are little sensitive like for a New Year message. And what I did was, Swami Anubhavananda ji was here. He was spent 3 days, and some of us had greater fortune to spend a little longer time. His whole message was to be in the now, how to be in the present. So I will give you 7 Maha Mantras which he says, which can be our New Year message. So let us see how much we can remember, and we will proceed. First question. There is something common to all of us. What is that which is common to all of us? In fact, that common thing will decide why we came here. So there is one thing which all of us are looking for all the time. And in fact, all our efforts are directed towards that. And that is, we all want to be happy, isn't it? Why have we come here? With the hope, you have beaten the traffic, you have given up many things with the hope that this experience will be a happy experience. That means in Sanskrit there is a verse which says Sukha Prapti or Dukkha Nivritti. That Dukkha Nivritti is also important. Some time ago we were traveling to Japadakatte, and there was a person sitting next to me, and I suddenly realized that he does not know Kannada, and I told him, sir, this whole program is in Kannada. How will you manage? He says, no problem. Anything to get out of the house. So all our activities are directed towards 2 things, Sukha Prapti or Dukkha Nivritti. Now, normally, where do we look for happiness? Think again. Normally, where do we look for happiness? We look for happiness in people who give us happiness. See, if there is somebody who is going to give us sorrow, we will certainly avoid. In persons, in certain situations, and certain objects. So we are looking for persons, situations, or objects that give us happiness. Those of us who have been to Swami Paramatmanandaji's classes know all persons, objects, and situations come under the classification of what is called Vishayananda. Any happiness that comes from objects has got certain problems. There are 3 problems. The first problem is called Dukkha Mishritatva. Now all of you have come. To come here there is a struggle. To go back from here there is a struggle. So there is a certain amount of effort that we have to put to get. So Any happiness that comes from external objects, there is a certain effort that you have to put. It is dukkha mishritatvam. Second is called atripti karatvam. As you are listening, your mind is also active. Your mind will say, that talk, that was better. Sometimes you will compare. So there is atripti karatvam. That one was better. So sometimes it cannot give complete satisfaction because there is a certain expectation, and if it does not match that expectation, there will be a certain disappointment. And the third is called bandhakatvam. That is why B, bandhakatvam, atripti karatvam, and dukkha mishritatvam are the problems whenever we look for happiness outside. And what is the solution therefore? Is there a solution? Is there a happiness that is free from all the defects? Vedanta or Upanishad says yes, and that is what we have been doing all the time. In all our classes, we have been working on Vedanta, which gives us Atma Jnanam. Once I discover my true nature, the end product is I am so Atmanevatmana Tushtaha. Then if others are there, good. If nobody is there, then Tushtaha, I celebrate myself. Vedanta or Jnana Yoga is a difficult path. We are working on it. It takes many years. It takes a good acharya, an acharya like this, or great students from great acharya to help us. Now, is there a shortcut? Today we are looking at shortcuts. Normally teachers will say, don't look for shortcuts, that will cut you short. But there are certain shortcuts. That is why if you are with certain acharyas, they will give you shortcuts. So today we will explore shortcuts to happiness. Are we ready for that? So for that also you have to answer certain questions to be able to discover. This is part of the 7 questions that we need to answer. The question is, are happy people grateful or are grateful people happy? Example, happy people means those who are blessed with all the good things in the world. Normally what we think is very good. They have all these things in the world. Are they likely to be grateful for what they have, or is it that grateful people are happy? The answer is, whenever you are grateful, you are happy. About that we are clear. Remember this message. You can never be grateful and miserable at the same time. If you understand this, then the shortcut to happiness is gratefulness. Whenever you are grateful, we see experiences of people who have had major surgery. Whenever they had a major surgery and a cancer surgery, sometimes you remove part of the esophagus. Then you have to bring the stomach up. Now for months together, they are not able to take food normally. And then finally, the swallowing mechanism is a very complex mechanism. With a lot of physical therapy, we have to train them. And you should see the videos of people who after 3 months of tube feeding, who are fed for the first time, the smile is from here to here. The voice is not there because the voice apparatus, I have had some soup today. What are you going to give me next? So happy. Whenever you are grateful, you are happy. So that is the formula now. The shortcut to happiness is gratefulness. Next question. Are we looking for grateful moments in life, or are we looking for grateful living? That means, do you want momentary happiness or do you want happiness all the time? Answer is very clear. We want a shortcut to happiness all the time. So for this, I will give you another question to answer, and we all know this. And I am again grateful to Swami Paramatmananda ji to having inculcated this into my mind. And that is an understanding of what is luxury and what is need. I'll give you one favorite example of mine. Whenever you're traveling, especially when you're traveling international, they would have overbooked. And sometimes if you're traveling alone, you get a chance to get upgraded to business class. And if you travel business class, then you are exposed to a kind of luxury. Now, if you are given that opportunity for luxury, what will you do? You will enjoy. You will enjoy the special service that you get, the opportunity to sleep and go. So what is luxury? Luxury is that when you have it, you enjoy thoroughly. On the next flight, you don't get an upgrade. Do you miss it? You don't miss it. By now, we have been trained to live in such a way. When you have luxury, you enjoy. But when you don't have it, you don't miss it. So we have all had moments of luxury in your life. What is a need? A need is something, when it is there, we take it for granted. We don't even realize it is there. When it is not there, we miss it very badly. For example, we are so lucky to have power, an ambient temperature, a good surrounding, no noise. So when everything is fine, supposing there is noise or supposing power goes, now a need is when what we need to do is, a need is that without it, we cannot function, but we take it for granted when it is there. Now, if you want to be grateful living, we have to convert our need to a luxury. That means I can breathe, I can see, I can talk, I can understand, I can experience this moment. Now, if you count all these things, you will see every moment is a moment of luxury. All we need to do is to be able to experience and not take this for granted. One more question, and that will come to the crux of my point, what I would like to say. What is a gift? I want you to say very clearly 2 points to say what is a gift. This is around Christmas time, and during Christmas time, many families, like Diwali, we share gifts. A gift is something which you value. First point, it is something valued. Second is, a gift is something which you have not asked for, you have not paid for, but you have got it freely. So 2 things. A gift is something that you value and you have not paid for it, you have not asked for it, it has been given to you freely. Question is, what is that gift all of us have all the time, extremely valuable and given to us free of cost? Think. Can you feel this moment? Can you feel life in this moment? Can you become more aware of this moment? That is why this moment is called a present. The nowness. This is called the power of now. What have I done to deserve this moment? Think. Aren't we so blessed? Now, supposing I miss this moment because I'm thinking of what I should do next. The teacher will say, I've all got this from David Steen Rast. Listen to his YouTube talk. I will touch upon him a little more. If you miss this moment, he says, don't worry, you will get another moment. If you miss that moment, don't worry, you will get another moment and another moment. But can you live in that moment? Can we experience this moment? So the whole trick is, can I live in this moment? And what is the pratibandha? What is the enemy that takes me from this moment? That is my mind. My mind dwells in the past, my mind dwells in the future. And because of my mind is my greatest asset, but my mind can be my greatest enemy, because I can be sitting here and you can be comparing. Each word I can be speaking, you can evaluate, you can judge. If I am in my mind, you are not really here. That is why they say, if you are a good listener, we have to train ourselves not to evaluate, not to judge, not to compare, be like small children who come from an open mind. And when there is no evaluation, there is no judging, there is no saying this is useful, this is not useful. So watch your mind. Am I in the mind or am I in the no mind? The whole secret is to use your own mind to go beyond the mind. Now, my mind has to commit a kind of a suicide. Real meditation. like Bhagwan Osho. He was saying real meditation is to go beyond the mind. Nashta manasa utkrishta yoginaha. Bhagwan Ramana talks about, he uses a very strong word, utkrishta yogi. Swami Anubhavanandaji calls this utkrishta yogi as a super deluxe yogi. The highest form of a yogi is nashta manasa. Nashta manasa means one who has gone beyond the mind. That means, right now, I'm also a victim of that. I've not kept my phone in silent. Now, if your phone is in silent mode, that means it is collecting all the messages for you. It is doing its work, but it is not disturbing you. When you want, you can use it. When you don't want, you can keep it quiet. Nashta manasaha utkrishta yoginaha. That person, that super deluxe yogi is one who can use his mind when he wants to use it. When he finds his mind is a disturbance, he can put it on silent. That is our whole training. In India, how it happens, very often it is a governor who is elected by the ruling party to become the candidate for the next president. And it has happened many times. So the governor of a state has to write his resignation to the President of India. Dear sir, I hereby submit my resignation to the post of governor because I want to take your post. Please do the needful. So the president has to forward that letter of a junior of his who's writing to him and saying, please allow me to resign so that I can take over your job. Mind is not going to allow. My mind is going to sit tight. And that is why there is a nice phrase in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita where the word titiksha comes. Matra sparshasu kaunteya sitaushna sukadukadaya agama pahino anityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Now, if you want to go beyond the mind, you have to have a strong mind. Our objective is now what? To be in the present. Because what is the greatest gift we have is the power of now. To be in the now. To be in a state of no mind. No mind when? Wherever possible. So now I have given you some 7 questions. You have answered those 7 questions. Now we will go into answering those 7 questions. Venkatesh Prasad has already given that beautiful quote from the Bhagavad Gita. Uddaret atmanam na atmanam avasadayet atmaiva bandhuratmana atmaiva ripuratmana. Your own mind can be your friend, it can be a cause of bondage. There is a nice verse, 2nd verse from Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Mana eva manushyanam karana bandha mokshayoho. Your mind can be the cause of bondage. The mind can be the cause of freedom. So let us look at 7 points. So these are the 7 points that we need to look for to see how we can go beyond the mind. The first point I will again take from David Steenrast. David Steenrast, who has given this amazing talk. You can look at him on YouTube. How I can be in the present, how I can be in the now, how I can look for every worldly situation to remind me to come into the now. Every traffic signal, you will have to stop. How do you teach children to cross the road? Remember this formula. Stop, look, go. You'll remember? Stop, look, go. What do you mean by stop? I'm practicing with you. Consciously slow down. And the speaker, David Rast, says, we rush through life. Because we are rushing through life, we are not able to experience this moment. As I said, this whole preparation for me was on the banks of the Ganga between Rishikesh and Devprayag. You cannot get into the water because the water is very cold. All you can put your feet into the water. And as your feet are in the water, you feel that cold water coming. And you feel that cold water, you are in the now. In the next moment, it has gone to the past. So there is the future coming from one side, the experience of now, and going back to the past. All we need to do is slow down. While you're eating, slow down. While you're talking, while you're walking, while you're driving, any activity that you do, slow down. We have to learn to waste time. How? Consciously. And you will realize it is not waste of time, it is the best use of time. Whenever you get islands of time like this, in the middle of any activity, take some time to do nothing. Just to be. There were two boys talking to one another. The younger brother asked the older brother, Anna, why should I say ABC? Why not ACB? So the older brother says, simple. First you must be, then you can see. Now, if I'm rushing through life, can I see? First, you must be. Stop. Second is look. Look means all your five senses. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. I'm not in a place where there are a lot of flavors, but wherever you are, can you be in all your five senses? And that is the meaning of look. Wherever you are, whatever you are, be 100%. Right now, all of you are listening. All of you have important jobs to do after this. But right now, can we be 100% listeners on the theme of how I can use my mind to be my own friend, to be able to experience the nowness, which is the greatest gift we all have, and therefore, I am going to have grateful living and not grateful moments, and so that I can be happy all the time. So that is our objective. So the first principle to remember is stop, look, go. That is the first point. I'll see how many points I will remember before I take out my sheet to remember. Second point. This is again from Swami Anubhavananda ji. Mahamantras. These are all not ordinary mantras. He says, when I give you mantras in English, you don't value it. If it is in Sanskrit or something, then you will take it as mantra. Dekho, suno, mat bolo. Think. That should be our formula in life. Whenever we speak, now today I am speaking, lot of mental activity should be there. That is why when Swamiji says, whenever you do a satsang, it is like doing a lot of physical exercise, the amount of energy that is taken. But if you want to give your mind rest, two things. Don't speak to others. More important, don't speak to somebody whom you always speak to. Don't speak to your own self. Magic formula. Watch yourself. Don't speak to others. May be possible. Very difficult is don't speak to yourself. Normally, what do we speak? Some complaint or the other. So Swamiji's again a magic formula is 0 complaints. How to have 0 complaints? In English, there is a nice phrase which says, consume your own smoke. Matra sparsha su kaunteya sita ushna sukha dukkha adaya. Sukha and dukkha you will. And whenever interaction happens, there will be smoke. There will be some irritation. But a person who's got titiksha, what he will do, he's got an ability to absorb one's own smoke. That means there is no negativeness that will go out of you. So when you go around, you're not emitting your complaints, 0 complaints. Remember, titiksha or mental toughness means I will go through life and life will have a lot of ups and downs, but 0 complaints. I'm not going to complain to anybody. I'm not going to complain to myself. How does the mind work? I will go to the next formula. First one is stop, look and go. Second is dekho, suno, mat bolo. Third is watch out for the ego. And how does the ego function? Swamiji says, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. Where do we lose a lot of effort? You see, one of the magic formula through yoga and other sciences is called the law of least effort. Even if I'm speaking, If I speak more naturally, you will see no effort. But if I'm trying to prove something to somebody, then there is a lot of effort. So the ego expends a lot of energy because the ego wants to prove that I am greater than somebody else. Whenever we, our ego decides how we dress, how we walk, how we talk, what kind of cars, what kind of places that we stay in. So all these are all very subtle function of the ego. After being in schools like this where we know that ego is not good, ego also means edging God out. Less ego, more of the divine. So then there will be a subtle ego. What is this subtle ego? How do you know that you're functioning from the ego? One more formula. You can repeat after me. Hurt and upset, whether justified or not, is always self-damaging. Very often, whenever you get hurt, you realize it is the ego. We don't realize it, but it is a manifestation of the ego. That is why Swamiji says, be insult-proof. A dasa, a true student, has no ego and therefore cannot be insulted. You should be insult-proof. So whenever you feel hurt, whenever you feel upset, you function from the ego. Ego has the ability to compare, oh, that moment was so good, that experience. We always have a tendency to compare our own children, our own family member with others. And we make a mess of our life whenever we go into comparison. So ego is comparison, ego is evaluation, ego is judging, ego gets hurt and upset. So by now we have finished a few formula. The first is stop, look, go. Second is dekho, suno, mat bolo. The third is you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I will come to some more difficult stuff. This is again given by Swami Anubhavananda ji. Very real, very true, very painful, but true. Are we ready for that? Don't expect happiness from children. So many people come to him and says, I have done so much for them. Then he asks you, who asked you? And one, again, Maha Mantra is, it is my need. See, it is our need to do whatever we have done for our own children. We are not investing as an investment so that at some stage I will get dividends and get rewards. And if I do that, it is a sure program for unhappiness. Therefore, the fourth Maha Mantra is, don't expect happiness from children. If you are blessed that the children give happiness, then you are those persons who are grateful for every moment. See, from now on, we should be grateful for what? This moment. That's all. I will remind you again and again, there is no greater present in life than this moment. Come to this moment. And if you are present to this moment, there can be no bad moment at all. Every moment is a blessing. Every moment is gratefulness. So fourth mantra is, don't expect happiness from children. For that matter, don't expect happiness from anybody. If you have given too much to somebody, it is your need, it is your nature to give. It is my nature to give. And because I have given, if I expect something in return, it is a sure mantra for unhappiness. A corollary to the fourth point is the fifth point. And as I said, each of these are in gradation of difficulty, more difficult. Now, mind my enemy, mind my friend. My aim is to be in the present, in the now. What is that which takes you away from now? Think. Swamiji has got a Maha Mantra. What is that which takes you away from the present? And remember this Maha Mantra number 5. Don't worry about the numbers, but all are Maha Mantras. Whatever I give importance to, that something is the cause of unhappiness in my life. If I give importance to my children, then all my time, my mind is going into my children's welfare. Swamiji says, don't be the general manager of the world. You are not here. See, there is a Lord who has brought them into the world. You are only a custodian. It is His business. He will direct you to do whatever is required. In fact, their prarabdha is already decided. You give them an environment for them to grow, and let that not be an object of worry for you. Because whatever I give a lot of importance to, that something can take me off from the present. Today, you have come to a very holy place. And in that place, Baba has said, or whoever has said, Shirdi, you have gone, whatever is in your heart will come true. Then what will you think of? Think of all the things that whatever you give importance to will come there. All that you give importance to. That is why Swami Paramatmananda ji has given a very difficult sadhana, extremely difficult. His name I will remember as SP, and if you want to remember his most difficult sadhana is no SP, no special prayer. Whenever you are in a very holy place where whatever you pray will become true, no special prayer. Because if you pray for something special, that something I am giving importance to, that something will take you away from the present, that something will, your mind becomes your enemy. You remember one thing, your happiness, your well-being, your this moment is more greater than anything else in the world. According to Vedanta, I'm slowly coming into the next few sadhanas are difficulty range. In Vedanta, they say, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. I am the only reality. Anything else that comes into my life is of a lower order of reality. The lower order of the reality, if I truly understand myself, cannot affect me if I have understood this Maha Mantra, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. What is that lower order we give so much importance to, and it hijacks us away from the gift of the present, and all the time I'm thinking, and that lower order is what we do our special prayers, and all our special prayers enhance ahankara and mamakara. What do I pray for? My body, my mind. My anatma is 6 things. Remember this. My body, my mind. My family, my friends. My possessions, my professions. Remember these 6 things. These 6 things are all not me, anatma. But how much we invest on the not me and give more importance to atma or myself. I am atma, Brahma is a Mahavakya. If I am Atma, Atmaneva Atmana Tushtaha. If I'm able to live in this moment, I'm living in the now. If I'm grateful for now, this is what is called grateful living. With this, we have come to 5 points or 6 points. I've come to the last formula. The last formula should be the most difficult. As I said, we are going through levels of gradation. The last formula is, I was asked by you, what is this thing called the mind? Let us understand the mind. If I have to go beyond the mind, I have to have a good understanding of the mind. One of the best teachers, see, I have been through various psychology schools, neurology schools, but I can say the best definition of mind comes from Vedanta only. Bhagwan Ramana has said, Manasantu kim iti marga nekrite naiva manasam marge arjavat. A true student will understand what is this mind and help you to go beyond the mind. What is this called mind? Mind is only thoughts. I am seeing Indumati. How will Indu appear to me? As a thought. You are real. As far as you are concerned, you are real. All of you here are real. But for me, in my mind, you are only an image in my eye. In my mind, you are a thought. For that matter, I am a thought for you. A thought is a virtual reality or actual reality. Madhu. Any thought, is it a virtual reality or an actual reality? See, you are real. A thought in your head is of a lower order of reality compared to you. The magic formula is all the anathmas that I spoke of, my body, my mind, my family, my friends, my possessions, my professions are all thoughts only. And the thought should be of a lower order, and the lower order shall not affect the higher order if I understand my true nature. So we have come to understanding of the mind. Finally, I will tell you one story. This is a story where many of us have grown up in Christian schools. Whether we know Ramayana or not, we will certainly know the story of Adam and Eve. I will tell you the story of Adam and Eve to be able to understand the mind and to be able to understand how we can go beyond the mind. The story of Adam and Eve goes like this. God created Adam, and then from his rib, he says, created Eve. And two beings were there. He gave them the best things in the world. He gave them paradise. In paradise, they had all the luxuries. I mean, whatever they wanted was provided. So paradise is a place where whatever you wish is fulfilled. So they were living in paradise, very happy. But then, there should be a but story, no? There is a but. The but to it, do you know what is that but? God said you can eat from any tree. You know, I have given you total freedom to do anything. But, and what is that but? Don't eat from one particular tree. Don't eat from which tree? Apple trees were plenty. You can eat all varieties of apple. But don't eat from one particular tree. What is that tree? Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. Jnanam. Atma Jnanam tree is there. Don't eat from that tree. Any other tree you can eat. Alright? Now, supposing you have a little child in your home, and the child is, you're going out, coming back in the evening, and you tell, see, I've kept all the goodies in the fridge. You can eat anything that you want. But there is one packet in that I've marked number 13. That one packet, don't open. Anything else you can eat and you can enjoy. What will that little girl do? Whatever you say don't do, again, mind has a tendency to go and do that only. Now, when you tell don't do, then the story goes. Very philosophical, very meaning. The serpent comes and tells Eve, you know why God told you don't eat from that tree? If you eat from that tree, you will get knowledge. In our context, Atma Jnanam. Then what happens? You will become like God. Mahavakya. You will become like God. That's the only thing you should. So when you are tempted, you want to do it. She not only ate, she gave it to her husband. Now, the next part of the story. What happens immediately after eating? Two things immediately happened. Secondly, first, until now, they did not know what guilt was. Suddenly, guilt came. Until now, they did not know what shame was. They were walking around naked, not bothered. Suddenly, they became aware of their nakedness. The moment jnanam or knowledge comes, you become aware of I other than you. The ego is born, the mind is born, and when the mind is born, I versus you, ego, shame, guilt, and the mind was born. Now, you have come home, there is that child who has eaten that particular, what kind of punishment are you going to do for that child? Are you going to banish the child from your house? Even a human being who's not as refined as God cannot punish your child. Whenever you tell something not to do, there was another story which missed my mind. This is again a favorite story. There was a man selling oil guaranteed to cure baldness. He says, this is a very expensive oil, 5,000 rupees. But if you put that, even if your bald hair will start growing. But two things. When you put that oil, you should not think of two things. Don't think of Indian Express and don't think of tuberculosis. So the man says, these two things never come to my mind, no problem. And he bought it, 5,000 rupees. Now, every time he puts that oil, what will come? From nowhere, these two thoughts will come. So this child, you tell them not to do, and they have done it. Now, will God banish you permanently from the Garden of Eden. So those who have interpreted the story, they say consciousness is of 4 levels. First is matter. This is called geosphere. Then comes this level of plants and animals, which is called biosphere. Adam and Eve were in the animal stage, blissful, happy, no self-consciousness. When they are hungry, they will eat. When they are tired, they'll sleep. No worry about tomorrow. No time consciousness, no death consciousness, no self-consciousness. The moment you eat from the tree of knowledge, ego is born, time is born. The time is called Kala or death. Time, Kala, death consciousness. So we are always looking, when will this fellow finish? Time, because time means death. So time is born, I against you. That awareness itself is banishment from the Garden of Eden. Because when you are time conscious, can you be in the present? That is why he said, if you want to be in the present, you have to learn to waste time. You have to learn to live in the now, because this is more important. When you live in the now, are you living in time or are you living in eternity? Ask yourself this question. There is something. See, when you're happy, you're not bothered about time. At that time, you are not in time. The Garden of Eden is a place where you are in eternity. But when you are born to this knowledge, then you are born in time. From that moment, all of us are restless. All of us want to go back to the Garden of Eden. And how do we go back to the Garden of Eden? All of us have our own. See, when you fall asleep, what happens? No time consciousness, no self-consciousness, no death consciousness. When you are asleep, where are you? Who are you? Where is your problems? So all of us want to sleep somehow or the other. Today is Saturday night, no? The number of bottles of alcohol that will get spent tonight. Christmas Eve today. Today is Christmas Eve, no? So you will see how the alcohol business goes. Worse than that is drugs. And as doctors, we know how many people are addicted to medication that will help you to sleep. People want to sleep. And therefore, Vedanta and others will tell you without drugs how you can go from unconsciousness to subconsciousness to human consciousness, which is called neosphere. And Tihal the Shadan, who's given this classification, he says the highest level to get back to the Garden of Eden is to become like Christ, is called Christosphere. That we call as Atma Jnanam, Atma Nevatmana Tushtaha. When you are a Jivan Muktaha, when you are living in this body, but your mind is no longer your enemy, your mind has become a roasted seed, it is not going to generate any punyam or path. There is beautiful verse, we need to meditate on this. I spoke about this last time. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. What is that Hridaya Granthi that keeps you away from now? Avidya Kama Karma. Can you repeat? They're making a noise, we should be louder than them. Avidya Kama Karma. Repeat once again. Avidya Kama Karma. Avidya means I do not know who I am. And because I feel I am limited, I want to do some activities so that I will get fulfillment. Kama will come, karma. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi is that non-existent knot. The rahasya of that knot is known to a person who's got Brahma Vidya. Chidyante Sarva Samshaya. Can you imagine the state when there is no doubt in my mind? Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. All your karmas, Sanchita karma is destroyed. Tasmin Drishte Paravari. Once you get that vision of that higher. Once you get that higher vision, you have moved from A-U-Ma, waking, dream, deep sleep. That is the 3 levels. And then you go to the Turiya or to the highest level of consciousness. Have I missed something? I have missed something. That is one more story. When the Mughal Emperor Akbar built his new capital called Fatehpur Sikri, he built a huge wall called Bulund Darwaza. There is a huge structure. Even today, if you go to Agra, you will take a short half-an-hour drive to Fatehpur Sikri. You will invariably go through Bulund Darwaza. And He built that for Humayun Chishti, that was his Sufi guru, and he loved this guru. His guru was staying in Fatehpur Sikri, that's why he shifted his capital. See how much he can do for his guru. He shifted his capital from Delhi to Fatehpur Sikri. All right. And when he built that huge wall, he said, I want a nice saying to be put up there. And his Sufi teachers gave a message from Jesus. And that message is there in Fatehpur Sikri. And you know what that message says? Isa, son of Maria, has said this: human life is a bridge. Don't make your house on it. You are here to go from that biosphere to Christosphere. You are here to evolve. And that is why Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha. If we have these three things, we are here to go from mind to no mind, to become a Jivan Mukta, to be here. Finally, what is our whole objective? Our whole objective is to be the master of the mind. That means wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever you are, can you be there? 100%. Can you be in the here? Can you be in the now? There is a very nice mantra we all know. I want you to repeat after me. Yogaratova, Bhogaratova, Sangaratova, Sangavihinaha, Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, Nandati Nandati Nandateva. We are now in yoga. Once we eating food, we are in bhoga. Whether you are in yoga, whether we are in bhoga, whether we are in sangha or whether we are by yourself. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam. If I can keep my mind on Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna can represent Brahman. Madhu, can you play that audio? I would like you to listen to the Bombay sisters Jayashri rendering Manasa Sancharare. And this whole audio is only to tell you, can you be in the now? Can you remind yourself to be in the now? Please keep your eyes closed.
Manasa Sancharare, Manasa Sancharare, Brahmane Manasa Sancharare, Brahmane Manasa Sancharare, Brahmane Manasa Sancharare.
ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು being in this present, being in this moment. When you are in this moment, you are totally empty. Empty ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗೆ ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಸಂಗ ನೆನಪಾಗ್ತದೆ. ರುಕ್ಮಿಣಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾಳಂತೆ, ನೀನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಆ ಕೊಳಲ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇರ್ತೀಯ ನೀನು. ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗದೆ ಅಂತದ್ದು ಆ ಕೊಳಲಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ನಿನಗೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆನಂದ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಅಂತ ರುಕ್ಮಿಣಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾಳಂತೆ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನಂತೆ, ಕೊಳಲು ಖಾಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಎಂಟಿ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಯಾವ ರಾಗ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನುಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ಖಾಲಿತನ ನನಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಇಷ್ಟ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ಖಾಲಿ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ, ಲೆಸ್ ಲಗೇಜ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್, ಆವಾಗ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಂಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ನೆನಪಾಯ್ತು. ಅನನ್ಯಾಸ್ ಚಿಂತಯಂತೋ ಮಾಂ ಯೇ ಜನಾಃ ಪರ್ಯುಪಾಸತೆ ತೇಷಾಂ ನಿತ್ಯಾಭಿಯುಕ್ತಾನಾಂ ಯೋಗಕ್ಷೇಮಂ ವಹಾಮ್ಯ. ಇದು ಯೋಗ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಷೇಮ, ಯೋಗ ಮತ್ತು ವೇದಾಂತದ ಸಮಾಗಮ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಳ. ಯೋಗವನ್ನ ಪಡೆಯೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಕ್ಷೇಮವನ್ನ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಪಡಿಬೇಕು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇದೆರಡೂ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಔನ್ನತ್ಯವನ್ನ ಸಾಧಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಯೋಗವನ್ನ ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಶೆಣೈ ಸರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕ್ಷೇಮವನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಎರಡು ಗುರುಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್, ಈ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೇನ್ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಪೊಸೆಷನ್ಸ್, ಅಬ್ಲಿಗೇಷನ್, ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಾವು ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಖಾಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ವಜ್ಜೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇದನ್ನ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಲಗೇಜ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ FIR ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ, ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ರಿಕವರಿ ಅಂತ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಲಗೇಜ್ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ, ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೈಟ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾವಾಗ ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ, ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಾವು ಈ ಅಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮದತ್ತ, ಈ ಧ್ಯಾನದತ್ತ, ಈ ಭಗವಂತನತ್ತ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ತಿಮ್ಮಪ್ಪ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಮೂಲ್ಯ ಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿರಾಮಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ, ರಾಮತೀರ್ಥ ಸೇವಾ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಪದಾರವಿಂದಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಶನೈ ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ನಾನೇನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ತರ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮನೆಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬರೋದು? ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಶುಭಂ.